Hello, crafty friends. It's Elisa from Paisley Papyrus. I am here today to show you what I have been working on since I was at the Scrapbook Expo on Saturday. um, we are actually in what's supposed to be my formal living room, but as long as we've lived here, it has been a schoolroom, library kind of room for my children. Back in the day, I used to homeschool my children, so this shelving unit was on the wall and served to hold all of my homeschool materials and various things related to children and their education. This room also has 3 desks in it, but somewhere in the last year, I realized that my daughter, who just got a desk up in her room, never works in here anymore. So this was her desk right underneath the shelving unit, and it has now been transformed into my crafty area. So I took all of the outgrown school material and moved it out. In fact, you can see a little bit of it over there by the door. Let's see if my fingers are in there, right over there. Some of that is from that, and then the rest of it's around the corner waiting to be taken out and gotten rid of. Obviously, this is where my children put their shoes when they come in the house. That's my laminator that hasn't been put away. And this right here is my collection of paper, or at least most of it. I organize my paper according to Totally Tiffany's 4-section system, or actually 3 sections for paper. So we have our rainbow, and then we have our themes, and then we have our seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter. I actually don't have up here fall and Christmas because I have so much of that it has its own home, because I just have such a vast quantity of that. But everything else is right up here on the shelf. So let me walk you through it. Up here on the top is my sewing box. Those are some things for my boys, for Boy Scout uniforms. Right there is my extras for my scrap rack and any other Totally Tiffany organizing things in that and in the basket. And then right next to that is Velcro dots. Those are some pictures in a Creative Memories box from 2007. They have been organized chronologically and waiting to be scrapbooked. The tip top is envelopes. Those are pictures from 2008 that have not been organized. They're just kind of shoved in there. And then my old Xyron. Now, up there are obviously things that I don't need to access very often, but I was tired of going downstairs to get them. So I brought them up here, and I also have a stepladder. Right over here, I have a little box from Close to My Heart with some stamps in it. And then these 4 boxes all have various embossing folders from Anna Griffin. So those are all housed right there. Now, right over here on the ends, I have, I use Totally Tiffany's paper handlers. They are my favorite. I used to use the Cropper Hopper ones. Let me see if I can pull one out. Here you go. So they look like this. But what I love about them is they're pretty sturdy, and I can pull these out and have handles to carry them with me if I need to, even just to carry it over to my table and back. So I recently ordered several of these because I love them. So this one is labeled for 2019. So any scrapbook pages that I finished in 2019 can go in there. Then my 2019 album will be in, actually, I have that backwards. It goes right here. So this, old Creative Memories is 11.5 inches across as opposed to 12 inches across, whereas the new Creative Memories is 12 inches across. My 2019 album will be in New Creative Memories album, so that's all stored right there next to each other. For 2018, I'm using a post-bound album from Close to My Heart that I had, so I'm making sure that all of the tools to make sure I scrapbook it properly are right next to my completed scrapbook pages for 2018, which is not very many because I literally just started. Now, these are my themes for kind of how I store my paper. I want to talk about romance because some people they have Valentine's in the seasonal section, but then you also have weddings and anniversaries and I love yous and whatever. Well, hearts can go in either of those, so I was really struggling with that, so I just created a romance category, and really everything falls into that. Anniversary, I love you, wedding, Valentine's Day, it all goes right there, as opposed to separating them out various ways. So that's just my little aside. Then I have, various other things. So then I have spring, summer, and winter here. These are stacks that I have purchased that I have not busted into yet, but I will. And then any stacks that have been busted into go into things like this, where I the cut aparts get sorted so that I keep the whole collection together. Now this little section right here has to be filed in appropriately. I literally just moved this in yesterday. But here's the thing that I'm super duper duper excited about. I have always wanted a die cut station. So I found myself not using my Cricut or my Scan and Cut very often because there really wasn't a place to have them. So now I have my new Gemini Junior over here, plugged in, ready to go all the time. I have all of my, well, not all of them yet because they haven't been organized, but this is where all of my flat dies will go, then my thicker dies, and then my other 3 die cutting situations. I find that some of my Anna Griffins work best in that. Sometimes this one's easier to pull up and put down, so it's easier just to work with. And then this one is for those big dies right underneath it. So I, yes, have 6 die cutting machines. I know, it's kind of embarrassing. But anyway, that one's right up there. Those are all the plates and things that go with them all. So these are from Totally Tiffany. These are from Totally Tiffany. And these are from Totally Tiffany. And I just love her stuff. So let me show you. This is a brand new product that's just come out. So it is 4 dies, and you pull it out like this, and you have adhesive on it, and you can adhesive backed magnets, and you put that on however you want them to be, and then you can store your dies on it. Now, I have discovered in the process that you can store your dies on the front and back, but I don't like doing that because, unless I have a really big die, because I started to do that over here. It doesn't want to slide in one-handed, so just trust me on this. But I started to do it. Where is it? Hold on, let me move this out of the way because now it's going to block me. So I started to do that on this one here with my circle dies, and then every time I took it out and laid it down, all the dies on the back fell off. So I stopped doing that, and I just put a big die on the back that doesn't really fall off, so that's no longer wasted space. But for all of my littler dies like this, I'm really just going to do it one-sided. So I've started the process of putting them together. Now the way they come is, it doesn't want to come out because I'm working with my left hand. They come blank, and then you add the adhesive backed die or magnet strips, and those come in a little box like this so that you can really customize it to be the way you want it to be. Again, one-handed, it's not opening for me. So they just look like this, and you can adhere them and configure it to suit you. Now over here, these are magnetic cardboard cardboard sheets, I guess. Cardboard, I don't know what you call them. Magnetic boards. I get them from, what's the place called? Brain freeze. Anyway, they used to be Stampin' Up! People, and then they started their own company. But I buy the magnetic boards from them. But I keep them in this because I can fit so many. Let me get everything out of the way here so I can pull it forward and really show you what I'm talking about. Because I can fit so many in here. So I can flip through some smaller ones here, some smaller ones here, and then I have the 8.5 by 11 or whatever size that is back there. Now, one of the other things I do for like my Anna Griffins, because they come with a lot of words, I will go through and cut them all and put them on here in the manner that I make a copy on here, because this is obviously easier to read. So this index is this, and this word sister right here is right here, so that I can find it on here quickly and easily. So that's kind of how I do that, just to make sure that I can read everything, because oftentimes I don't remember what the words say backwards and upside down and all configured all over the place. So anyway, I'm super excited. My daughter is thrilled now that she wants to scrapbook with me. She does not mind at all that I've taken over her desk and turned it into a die cut station. Now, the other thing that's cool about that is those two can easily be pulled down to this surface, which in theory will always be clear and can be plugged in right there and used easily, and then put right back up where they go afterwards. So hopefully that means those very expensive machines I purchased will now get much more use. So anyway, thanks for joining me. This is what I've been up to since the Scrap Expo on Saturday, and I'm super excited, very pleased with it. Thanks. Bye-bye.